Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, Finality of Loss. We covet what we lose, and we never appreciate what we have while we're holding it in our hands. What is it about human nature that we only want what is gone? We only covet what our neighbor has, and we desire to be satisfied with life only on the deathbed. We appear to dislocate loss by disassociation. We must always win. We must always be right. We must never look weak or compulsory or ordinary. And with that triumphant egoism, we are unable to accept even the perception of something never coming back again once it is gone. Sure, we miss those around us who die, but some believe they will be reunited in the afterlife, so the loss is really only temporary. Is that coping method a salve or a dissipation of harsh reality? I am reminded of my old friend, Fred Gwynne. Great actor, but forever stuck in the human monster meme and the Car 56 Where Are You Fantasia. And Fred felt that sting of being stereotyped as a green monster and as a comedic foil for his entire adult life. Fred Gwynne was a painter at heart. His mind was trained at Harvard University. Fred was undeniably brilliant, and he was gifted in drawing, and he drew every day. And every year, he'd send his friends personalized Christmas cards that he drew for them, little works of art that mattered and made a difference in the detail of everyday life. Fred wasn't seeking fame or money. He just wanted to brighten your day, just a little bit, with an appreciation of art from his own hand. And Fred Gwynne also liked to drink, and alcohol buggered him his entire life, too. When Fred was on his deathbed, suffering from pancreatic cancer in 1993, and dying on July 2nd, 8 days shy of his 67th birthday, Fred said this, with a snap of his fingers, that "I'll see you again, just like that, and we'll be together again." The lesson in Fred Gwynne is the wonder at the need to belong, the want to see you again, and in the divine whisper that, even in darkness, everything will end up right again in the light. All in the time it takes to snap your fingers. Another good friend of ours who was taken much too soon is interpreter Alan Champion. Alan died a few years ago of cancer of the appendix, and here's what I wrote about Alan in David Boles' blogs about his too early passing. Update, April 22, 2011. Alan Champion died this morning a bit after 10 a.m. He died in Oklahoma with his sister by his side, in the same bed in which his mother previously passed. Alan was 55. He died on Good Friday. We already miss him. Together we will carry forward the glow of his talent into the bright future he blazed for us. Alan Champion was closing a circle. Returning home from his brilliant life in New York City, to die with his original friends and family in Oklahoma, so he may die in his mother's bed. Alan Champion, in the end, turned from the city he loved and returned to the fields that birthed him. A dire human want to end up where you began. So these are the things we have lost, and here are the moments that we mourn. And in the all of us, we know we will never see these people again, or feel the real wonder of standing with them in the same room at the same time. And those are the large losses. But what about the smaller things we've lost and cannot ever recover again? What happens to the lost bits of us? Smaller things like lost loves, animal species, opportunities, cheating death, and childhood innocence. These are more ethereal and theoretical losses on some level, and we can categorize and dump them away. But they are also real and tempered and a part of us, and they matter even if we no longer claim to care. I ask you, could the 1942 Disney movie Bambi be made today? Or would there be such an outrage and such a demand to change the story so it's more palatable for a new generation of children who are never supposed to suffer or notice loss or feel pain? I argue with you now, Bambi, the movie, could never be made today. We have crept so far into owning without losing that no filmmaker today would dare have a child taken from a mother. By a hunter's bullet, no less. Today, as a society, we could not bear for a single second knowing that Bambi's mother, the great princess of the forest, was shot dead and gone forever, and Bambi was an orphan. And all of those horrible, real facts of life is what makes Bambi such a magnificent movie, because it irrevocably prepares children for devastating loss and endless pain that Walt Disney himself knew was a part of becoming a real person in society. Loss builds empty and promotes understanding. But not today. Today, we can lose nothing. Today, we admit nothing. Today, we never apologize. Today, the grave is only a bassinet where we'll magically reappear in the snap of a finger. But what Walt Disney knew in 1942, and that few adults today will admit, but that we all repressively know, is that children are ripped from their parents every day, all over the world. Ripped apart by war and addiction and justice and evil and on-purpose events that could easily be avoided. And how can children today deal with those hard realities that are reflected in their real lives but not addressed in their fantasies? Except in video games and escapist movies where nobody dies, no bullets actually kill, just hit a button and a whole new life replaces the other. And so today, when children learn people actually never come back once they're dead, they are left adrift to self-process feelings of fright and of misunderstanding and of feeling a cheated loss that may not be fully realized until the repressive adult they become takes form. And that's bad for the kid, and really bad for the rest of society, who has to deal with an ill-formed person with no loss expectations. We also see this need for preservation of the innocent manifest itself in other ways, as in the memorialization of the pristine room of the dead. You may know people who have lost a child, and the child's bedroom then becomes a shrine to the dead child, not the living memory. Nothing is touched in the room. The room is preserved for eternity as a frozen moment in time. A dead reminder every day of the real horror that traumatically affected a family. I wonder, is it right and healthy to adore the dead more than the living? For some people, probably. Because the dead don't disobey, the dead don't talk back, and the dead always take their orders from the living. But for others who know, we always hope the dead child's room can change into something for all of the living. Yes, we must always allow people their grief, but we should never allow them their madness. Letting go is just as important to the human condition as attaching, and we need to be taught how to mourn and how to process loss, and we need to understand the meaning of endings. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.